myself, Dr. Arindam Bhattacharya, Associate Professor, Department of Mathematics, Jadavpur University. I shall discuss about the subject differential geometry. Differential geometry is a subject which is very useful to learn theory of relativity, cosmology, fluid mechanics, solid mechanics and many engineering fields. Differential geometry can be learned in two ways. One is vector approach, another one is tensor approach. We shall consider the tensor approach, which is the modern approach. So, our first chapter will be on introduction of tensors. In first chapter, our learning objects will be first the summation convention, which was given by Albert Einstein. Second learning object is contravariant and covariant vectors. Third learning object is expression of coefficients for transformation law in E2. In the introduction, we shall first say about the tensor, from where it is coming. A crystal physicist W. Voigt of Göttingen, Germany, introduced tensors in a textbook of crystal physics published in 1910 at Berlin. The first example of a tensor was the system of tensions of a deformed solid. When a solid is deformed, tensor is created. We can discuss about this by a picture which was coming after the next slide. Tensor is the generalization of term vector. The word tensor comes from the word tension. Now, this is the picture where we can see that the tensor is created at the deformed configuration. This is the original configuration is given at first, and then after some transformation a deformed configuration has been shown where the tensor is created. So, from this picture we can see that how tensor is coming out. Now, before we go to in details, we shall learn the summation convention given by Einstein. Let us consider the sum summation I equals to 1 to n a I x I, which can be expressed in the following way, that a1 x1 plus a2 x2 plus dot 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 plus a n x n, and this summation can be written by this. So, summation sign is not given by Einstein and it can be expressed in this form, that a I x I and I is running from 1 to n. Now, if an index occurs once as a lower index and again as an upper index, the index is called dummy, as we have shown in the previous slide, that a I x I is the dummy index. The index used once in an indexed expression is called the free index. So, if an expression is like this, a I k x I, then I is the dummy index and k is the free index. In previous section, we have learned about the summation convention given by Albert Einstein. Now, In this section, we shall learn about contravariant and covariant vectors. Vectors has been studied in our undergraduate portion as a vector algebra and vector calculus. Now, here we are dividing the vectors in two parts, that is contravariant vectors and covariant vectors. Now, to learn contravariant and covariant vectors, our approach will be algebraical. So, let Vn be a vector space over a field F. Field may be the set of real numbers or may be complex numbers, whatever it may be, and let Ei and E bar I are two bases of this vector space. We know that in a vector space there are infinite number of bases. So, we can write E bar j equals to Aij Ei, where Ij belongs to 1 to n, this index set, and this summation is given by Einstein's summation convention. So, we are not writing the summation sign, and every vector can be expressed as a linear combination of the other basis vectors. So, E bar j is written as Aij Ei. Similarly, Ei can be expressed as Bki E bar k, where I and k belongs to the index set 1 to n. So, from 1 and 2 we can get E bar j equals to Aij Bki E bar k. Now, when j is equal to k, then we see that Aij Bki is equal to 1, and for j not equal to k, this expression is 0. Thus, what we can observe from these two expressions, that Aij and Bki are inverse to each other. Now, if x is an element of the vector space, then we can express x as x bar k E bar k and xi Ei, and they are the expressions obtained by the basis vectors E bar k and E bar I. So, if we replace these basis vectors by the previous transformations, then we have x bar k equals to Bki xi and xk equals to Aki x bar I. So, from these expressions we see that the coefficient matrices Aij and Bji are inverse to each other. This is our first observation. Second one, the transformation rules for the basis vectors and any arbitrary vector of the vector space are opposite to each other. For this reason, they are called contrary in French language, and in English language we call them contravariant vectors. Thus, the vectors of the vector space Vn, that is n dimensional vector space, are called contravariant vectors or contravariant tensors of rank 1 or tensor of type 1, 0. Next, we shall discuss about covariant vectors. Now, let A be a scalar function from the vector space to the field F such that A satisfies the linearity condition, that is Ax plus by equals to Ax plus bay, where A, B are the members of the field F and x, y are the members of the vector space Vn. The set of all such linear functions on Vn is denoted by Vn star. Now, on this Vn star, we define two binary operations. One is plus, defined by this way, that is A plus Bx equals to Ax plus Bx for all A, B belongs to Vn star. That means A, B are the linear functionals, and x belongs to V and A, B belongs to F. And the second operation is the scalar multiplication given by A of Ax equals to, A will come out A as A of Ax, where A belongs to F and A belongs to Vn star and x belongs to Vn. With these two operations, we can easily show that Vn star is also a vector space over F, which is called the dual space of Vn. Henceforth, the n dimensional vector space and its dual are denoted by V and V star respectively. So, we will not give the dimension n henceforth. Therefore, V star is a vector space over a field F, and let Ei, the upper index Ei and E bar I be two bases of this V star. Then again E bar I can be expressed as Qik Ek, and Ek can be expressed as Pkl E bar L as a linear combination of these two vectors. Now, let us see that how the elements of V star can be expressed in terms of these basis vectors. So, if Ei and A bar I are components of this A, then A can be expressed as Aj Ej and A bar I E bar I. So, A bar I E bar I can be written as Aj Ej E bar I, replacing the previous expressions. Hence, A bar I can be expressed as Eji Aj. Similarly, Aj Ej can be expressed as A bar I Qij Ej. So, that can be written as Aj equals to A bar I Qij. So, here we can see that the matrix of transformations of the components Ai and A bar I of a vector A belongs to V star are of same type. For this reason, they are called covariate in French language, and in English language we call them covariant vectors. Thus, vector A is called covariant vector. So, the elements of the dual space are called covariant vectors. In the last section, we have seen the transformation rules for covariant and contravariant vectors. In these expressions, we have seen that Aij, Eik, these are the transformation matrices which have some type of expression. In this section, we shall see that with some transformations, these matrices becomes the partial derivatives. Now, in this section, we shall see that the expression of the coefficient of transformation laws in E2 and how it is coming to partial derivatives. Now, suppose P is a point x1, x2 and Q is another point with coordinates y1 and y2. Then PQ is a vector which can be written as y1 minus x1 and y2 minus x2. It is written in terms of components. So, we denote this yi minus xi as zi, where I is running from 1 and 2. Now, we give a orthogonal transformation or the rigid motion of coordinate axis on this E2 given by x bar 1 equals to a1 a1 x1 plus a1 2 x2 plus b1. So, this is the transformed x1 coordinate and x bar 2 is a21 x1 plus a2 2 x2 plus b2, which can be expressed by using the summation convention as x bar I equals to aij xj plus bi, where ij is running from 1 and 2, where the transformation matrix comes to this form a11, a12, a21 and a22. And as it is orthogonal transformation, so this matrix is orthogonal with determinant of P equals to 1. Now, suppose this is the picture of the previous transformations given. This is x axis, y axis and x bar, y bar are the transformed coordinate axis and the points are given PQ in xy coordinate system and also in x bar, y bar coordinate system. Now, with this transformation law, the new coordinate system will be z bar I equals to y bar I minus x bar I, where I equals to 1, 2. In new coordinate system, the expression becomes z bar I equals to y bar I minus x bar I, where I is running from 1 and 2. So, which can be expressed in the form z bar I equals to aij in the bracket yi minus xi, and which can be expressed as aij zj. From the previous expression, if we differentiate partially with respect to xj, we get del x bar I del xj equals to aij. So, the expression aij are the nothing but the partial derivatives del x bar I del xj. So, replacing this value, we have z bar I equals to del x bar I del xj zj. So, this is the transformation rule in E2 under the given orthogonal transformation. So, the equation 12 shows that the coordinates of a vector PQ in E2 transform according to the law of 11 to a new coordinate system, where this date del x bar I, del x j, that is given by the determinant of this one, del x bar 1, del x 1, del x bar 1, del x 2, and del x bar 2, del x 1, del x bar 2, del x 2, and it is denoted by j, which is called the Jacobian of the transformation. This was first pointed out by Felix Klein in 1972. So, in our first module of chapter 1, we have learned three things. First, the summation convention given by Albert Einstein. The second one, contravariant vector and covariant vector, and why they are called contravariant and covariant vectors, that we have expressed very rigorously. And the third one, the expression of the coefficient matrices which are coming as a partial derivatives. So, in all the transformation rules from one coordinate system to other coordinate system, we have seen that the partial derivatives behaves as the coefficient matrices of that transformation.